This Friday, March 24th, marks the kickoff of the 2023 Outfest Fusion Queer, Trans, Black, Indigenous, and People of Color Film Festival. It's presented by IMDb. It is the 20th anniversary of the festival, 10 days of in-person and virtual screenings, workshops, and more. And with more, we are joined by the Outfest Executive Director, Damien Navarro. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Nice to have you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Most important thing people need to know about this event?
You know, it's an incredible event. Anything that's celebrating 20 years has a lot of opportunity to evolve. And, you know, a QT BIPOC festival originally was called a People of Color Festival. And, you know, initially it was a bunch of organizations that got together to celebrate one another. And little did we know how meaningful it would have to be in a world like today, where not only do we get to celebrate one another's art, but community as well.
How has the reaction changed in the last 20 years?
You know, I think with marriage equality, we all thought our work would be done, you know, and I think with so much anti-LGBT legislation, violence, little did we know that solidarity amongst our community and our allies finding places like this to come and celebrate not only art and work, but seeing representation is one thing, but to celebrate the artists that are creating that representation, I think is an entirely different level. And we've seen increasingly more and more community, family, and allies coming together to watch these works, celebrate one another's art, and I think that's having a real dramatic effect on everything from legislation to anti-violence.
Well, we know that trans issues are sort of at the center of the national debate right now. Drag shows, center of the national debate, places like Tennessee, Florida, Texas, other places around the country. How does your festival address that? You
know, I think specifically at Outfest Fusion, I mean, we have our first ever inaugural Family Day. I mean, we're creating sanctuary. Places where not only families and young people can come together and enjoy drag storytelling, an entire program that's created just for them. But obviously, we don't just stop there. It's so important for individuals to find lots of different experiences, whether it be science fiction or horror or rom-coms, that really reflect so many different parts of the community, because I think that's the problem. We get pigeonholed into these areas or use the word niche, and that's the rest of the country doesn't necessarily realize that we're such a broad spectrum of everybody's life. And I think that's what we're trying to fight back.
And it sounds like the crowds, your demographic has changed over the years. You mentioned families now are going to this, where you didn't see that necessarily 20 years ago.
Well, I mean, back in the day, you were trying to self-identify with a letter. I mean, you were trying to survive. And yet today, we are part of the fabric of communities. We're having families. In fact, the majority of queer families are out amongst the middle of the countries. They're not living in urban cities. And so we had to adjust to that. And we want solidarity. You know, we want to be standing hand in hand with the communities that support us. And so that's really a lot of what these types of festivals are meant for.
All right, so people want to check out the festival.
Yeah, the 2023 Outfest Fusion QT BIPOC Film Festival runs March 24th, Friday, through April 2nd, showing 10 features and 93 short films, both in person and virtually. You can find tickets at outfestfusion.com.